Alright, so I've had two people ask me to make this video, which is two more than the number of people that haven't asked me to make this video, so if me talking about politics bothers you, you probably should have said something sooner. We're going to talk about the fiscal cliff! Yay! First, a brief summation of American politics. America has two major political parties, the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. Both parties believe that their ideas are the only good ideas and that anyone that disagrees with them is ignorant and or immoral. This results in the United States having a political climate that looks like two monkeys hurling feces at each other. That's an exaggeration, but you get the idea. It's important to note that the fiscal cliff isn't an actual cliff. In fact, there's a lot of people that don't agree that it's even a metaphorical cliff, which is why you hear a lot of people referring to it as the fiscal slope, the austerity crisis, and Clifford the Big Red Fiscal Dog. On December 31st, several tax provisions are going to be expiring, most notably the tax cuts that George Bush put into place in 2001 and 2003. This coincides with the implementation of several spending cuts. This is going to result in a fairly significant tax increase for everyone, anywhere from 3.7 to 7.2%, unless we can agree on another plan before that. While the tax increase would do something to help the deficit, it's pretty universally agreed on that it would have an absolutely terrible impact on the economy. On top of that, neither Republicans nor Democrats are really that happy about the across-the-board budget cuts, significant tax increase in the middle class, lack of tax revenues, and entitlement cuts. Of course, in the true spirit of American politics, the many things that both sides agree on are absolutely nothing compared to the few things in which they don't. Numerous options have been proposed from both sides, but the Democrats won't pass a plan that cuts Medicare, and the Republicans won't pass a plan that increases taxes on the wealthy. This is where the fiscal cliff comes in. If the Republican and Democratic parties are two children squabbling in the backseat of the car, the fiscal cliff is the upset parent behind the wheel with a migraine. The cliff doesn't care who started it. The fiscal cliff is going to finish it. The fiscal cliff will turn this car around. We're on the economic road trip from hell, and there's every chance that America is not going to make it to Disneyland. The fiscal cliff is the deadline by which they have to have come to some sort of compromise, otherwise everyone is hosed. Of course, they could just postpone the fiscal cliff like they did in 2010, except that both Democrats and Republicans want to cut spending more than that would allow, and Congress hasn't actually passed a budget since April of 2009. So it's pretty important that come December 31st we can kind of get this sorted out. It's important to note that the fiscal cliff is not the product of either political party. It's a natural event that occurs at predictable intervals as the direct result of our nation's political system. The existence of the fiscal cliff is not the problem. The problem is our lawmakers using the fiscal cliff for a game of political chicken. It's nice for both parties' egos, but it's really hazardous for the American economy and the American people as a whole. So, should you be concerned about the fiscal cliff? Yes, absolutely. What can you do about the fiscal cliff? Lots, provided that you're a senator, U.S. representative, or Barack Obama and are willing to sit down for the next 2 weeks and sort something out. Otherwise, no, there's not a whole lot that you can do about the crisis immediately at hand. However, you can do something long-term that could possibly prevent this from happening again, or at least lessen the severity of it when it does roll around. The next time that you're talking to someone and you find out that they disagree with you on anything, whether it's the economy, or gun control, or foreign policy, or gay marriage, or whether or not Phineas and Ferb is acceptable entertainment for adults, listen to them. Just genuinely listen to them. Don't look for flaws in their argument. Don't sit there thinking how much of an idiot they are. Just listen and try and understand. When they're done talking, you're still going to disagree with them, but you will have taken a moment to listen to their argument as the legitimate viewpoint of an actual human being. When you do that often enough, you realize that we as human beings mostly want the same things. We want those that we care about to be happy. We want to support our families. We want to feel comfortable with ourselves. When you realize that most of us are working towards those same things, it's a lot easier to work together with someone that you disagree with. And if you do this and keep doing this, then other people will start to do it. And if enough people start to do it, then eventually our politicians will start to do it. And when this sort of situation rolls around, we will not have games of chicken, monkeys throwing poop, or children squabbling in the back seat. We will have genuine, productive politics. Really, all it takes is some people listening.